In this video, we are going to talk about internal structure of heart. So this is part 3 of the video, anatomy of heart. And in this video, we are going to discuss the right ventricle, the left atrium and left ventricle. So first let us start with right ventricle. Right ventricle is a thick-walled conical chamber which forms the right and cranial part of the heart. It receives blood from the right atrium through tricuspid orifice, which is guarded by tricuspid valve, and it discharges the blood through conus arteriosus into the pulmonary trunk. Okay, so first thing, right ventricle is thick walled. Ventricles are thick walled and atriums are thin walled. But between right and left ventricle is thicker. So here we have a atrium, then right ventricle. So blood will enter into the ventricle via the tricuspid orifice, which is guarded by the tricuspid valve, and it will supply the blood to the pulmonary trunk, or we can say to the pulmonary artery, via a structure called conus arteriosus. It is cone-like structure, that is why we call it conus arteriosus. Then conus arteriosus is present on the left and tricuspid orifice is present on the right side of the base of the heart. So when you are dissecting the heart, so this is the four chambers. Suppose you are cutting like that. So you will see there are two valves, one on the right side and one on the left side of the right ventricle. So on the left side we have conus arteriosus, on the right side we have tricuspid orifice. Then septomarginal trabeculae are large muscular band which extend from lateral wall to the interventricular septum across the cavity of the right ventricle, and it prevents the axis dilation of the heart. It is called as moderator band. Very, very important. Why? Because septomarginal trabecula is single. It is one in number, while trabeculae carneae, they are multiple. So see here in this diagram, this structure is called as moderator band. It is single in case of right atrium. In left ventricle, it is more than one, but in right ventricle, it is one. While trabeculae carneae, they are these small fibrous structures. Okay, and they are present towards the apex. Okay, and you can easily differentiate them from the chordae tendineae, which are present towards the base, and they are connected to the papillary muscle. So I have discussed trabeculae carneae, round or irregular muscular columns which project from the inner surface of the ventricles of the heart. Then papillary muscle, again very important, especially for an objective type question. Why? Because a similar sounding muscle we have studied in the atrium, that is pectinate muscle. Pectinate muscles were comb-like muscles, right? Or we can say together with the crista terminalis, they form a comb-like structure. While in case of papillary muscle, they are muscular prominences which project into the cavity and they provide attachment for the chordae tendineae. Okay, so papillary muscle associated with chordae tendineae present in case of ventricles, and they prevent the prolapse of the valve guarding the atrioventricular orifice. Then chordae tendineae are fibrous cords that extend from the free edge of the cusp of atrioventricular valve to the apices of the papillary muscles. The valve of the right ventricle is called semilunar valve. It is also called as the pulmonary valve. Okay, so it will guard the entry to the pulmonary artery. It is made up of three flaps: intermediate, left septolateral, right septolateral. Names are not very important at UG level. So this is it for the right ventricle. Now we can come to the left atrium. Left atrium occupies the left caudal part of the heart. It usually has four pulmonary veins. Okay, four pulmonary veins are present. Usually, the number may vary. It has two parts: inflow part, just like the right atrium, sinus venosus, and an outflow part, again like right atrium, called appendix or auricle. The auricle of the right atrium is larger than that of the right atrium. Okay, so left atrium has larger appendix or auricle. Pectinate muscles are less in number. Vena hemiazygos traverse along its lateral surface. Fossa ovalis is faint and bicuspid valve is present, which guard the left atrioventricular orifice. And it has two cusps. That is why it is called bicuspid valve. So we have septal cusp and parietal cusp. So left atrium is not very important for LAQ point of view, but a lot of OT objective type question can be asked from this. Then at last we have left ventricle. It has the thickest wall. It forms the left and caudal part of the heart and extends from transverse apex to the groove. Transverse groove to the apex. Apex is only formed by left ventricle. Very important objective type question. Moderator band are thinner and 2 in number. Trabeculae carni are more in number. Papillary muscles and chordae tendineae are similar to right ventricle. Okay, so not much difference. Just moderator band more than right side. Okay, so 2 and they are thinner. Trabeculae carni, they are also more. Then aortic valve guards the opening of the aorta. Okay, so just like left atrium had bicuspid valve, right ventricle had semilunar valve, left ventricle has aortic valve. It closes or guards the opening of the aorta. It is made up of 3 flaps, but the names are not important. Okay. Then we have blood supply to heart. Blood supply to heart is also called as coronary circulation, and it is an example of vasa vasorum. So vasa vasorum means blood supply to the blood vessels, and because heart is a part of the cardiovascular system, so the blood supply of the heart or coronary circulation is an example of vasa vasorum. So the starting point is aortic sinuses. So what are aortic sinuses? This is the wall of the heart, and this is the cusp or flap of the aortic valve. So this cavity right here is called as aortic sinus. Okay, and there are 3 valves, so there are 3 aortic sinuses. We have left posterior, which is called as left sinus, right posterior, and anterior. Anterior is called right sinus, while the this one right posterior is non-coronary sinus. Why? Because it is not involved in the coronary circulation. Only 2 sinuses are involved, so they are called as left sinus and right sinus. From the left sinus we have right coronary artery, which will divide it into 2 branches, descending branch and the circumflex branch. Circumflex branch will go along the uh, transverse groove of the base of the heart, right? Then descending branch is also called as paraconal artery. It will traverse through the paraconal interventricular groove and it will anastomose with the descending branch of the right side. It is called as subsinosal artery. So we have paraconal artery, subsinosal artery, and they will anastomose here towards the apex. And the right coronary artery has another branch which is called as caudal branch of the artery. If this is the heart, so on the caudal border, this caudal branch of the artery will be present. So this is it for the internal anatomy of heart. I hope you like this video. If so, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and if you haven't, then subscribe to my channel. Thank you.